Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up, wake up, it's time to rise and sing the praise of Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It's time to rise, to sing, to shout, to bring him all your heart. He'll do the bigger part if you will only make a start.
Dear 7-Minuters, it's another early morning date with God. Today's inspirational devotional is entitled The Survival Switch. If you come to think of it, switches are just small pieces of mechanical instruments that control greater mechanical tools. Examples of which can be a switch of a machine in the factory, a switch of the car, a switch of the lighting system in a house. Well, just with these examples, you will figure out that switches are actually important to survival of mechanical structures. However, today, we will be figuring out a highly unknown switch in the human body. First, let us prepare our souls with our divine meal found in Luke 16 verse 10, and it says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." This biblical inspiration might be talking about little things, but its implication to humans can be very significant. Imagine we are judged not by what is visible, but by how we deal with the almost invisible. Well, tantamount to saying that God notices the big and small things and expresses logic in the similarity of both. Have you ever heard of a human digestive system and respiratory system organ called epiglottis? Well, I know many of you may have heard about it, but minding it is a fairly different story. However, many may not have even heard of its existence. Again, it is the epiglottis. Well, let me envision to you the purpose of this little organ in our system. Epiglottis is a switch that controls whatever enters the lungs and the stomach, meaning it is a two-sided switch. Thus, switch A is closing the lungs to open the stomach, and switch B is closing the stomach to open the lungs. You might see the function as very negligibly small, but wait till you hear the whole systematic function. The epiglottis serves a switch that closes the stomach so that when a person breathes in oxygen, it will directly go to the lungs, and that means giving oxygen and food to all parts of the body will be a good thing for the body to manipulate and do. However, when food is entering the mouth, the epiglottis switches the patency to the stomach so that food will enter the stomach and that glucose can be derived to produce sources of energy for our body to continue circulation and movement. Stating it this way, we view the functions as very normal and doable. However, let us now look at the adversarial side, dear friends. When the epiglottis misses to close the stomach, when air goes in through the nose, chances are there will be air embolism, and this can be very deadly in higher amounts, meaning it can cause death. On the contrary, if the epiglottis misses to close the lungs when food enters through the mouth, food can enter directly to the lungs, which can cause aspiration and infection. Those are both deadly and hazardous to human health. And in some cases, death can just be minutes away. This now spells the greatness of the function of a switch God placed in our body called the epiglottis. Why? Because it really does not matter how big you are as an organ in the system, but rather you will be measured by the effectiveness of your action and function in the system. Lastly, let us look at the rate of complication. You don't eat for 30 minutes and stop breathing. You don't eat for 30 minutes and stop breathing. Am I right? And then you breathe for another 30 minutes and stop eating. If you notice, we eat and breathe at the same time. So you don't breathe first and then eat later, or eat later and breathe now. Okay? We drink and breathe at the same time. That's reality. All the more that makes the sensible function of the epiglottis one that really upholds survival and one that is really very important. Now, we picture out how this tiny organ organizes things in the human system to maintain life and guarantee survival. It's time to compare epiglottis with honesty. Remember, small honest things determine a future that will merely be an application of the present. What we used to do in smaller ways will just be enlarged in the future. If we do what is right with the smaller things in life, if we put that switch to little things that makes the yes for the right and the no for the wrong, then we are assured of a strong future that will give us a foundational capacity to say yes to heavenly and right decisions and no to great opportunities yet illegal and immoral in nature. The value of the little decisions in our lives in the earliest part of our existence, the switches we made to allow the right and to do this, and to disallow the wrong. Let me repeat that one. The switches we made to allow the right and to disallow the wrong determines the future that we face. If we understand that little decisions, when they are continuously made in the wrong way, will in some day ruin our life, then we are picturing a better future. Like the epiglottis, we don't need to be dominant organ or a dominant figure in order to have dominant right and act of goodness. Stay unnoticeable. What we need to do is, if we can see the importance of doing good in small things, then we can also do good in the big things in life. Yes, there are things that when we do decisions with may only give us one chance and never another in the future. Things such as premarital sex, drugs, and things of these kinds. If we can have that epiglottic viewpoint that we need to be accurate in our decisions, though how small, though how unnoticeable, then we have a great future. The small decisions we make now determines the great future that we have. Because our little correct deeds and decision will always be the light of the future. The next time you are to face small and insignificant decisions in your life, remember to do what is right and implement what is right, for those who does things correctly in small opportunities will someday make correct things in grand opportunities. However, those who are doing things wrongly in the small routines of life will someday do the great wrongs that will ruin life. As we conclude our devotional for this moment, even how small we are in the sight of God, even we do things greater because we are doing it correctly, God will always be with us. Remember, God is bigger than our circumstances in life. Let me repeat that point. Remember, God is bigger than our circumstances in life. Ponder upon this song for a moment.
There is no situation where my God can be defeated, for He is bigger than my circumstance. And there is no man or mountain that's able to stand against Him, for He is maker and ruler of all. Giants fall and all, the Jordan rolls back for me. The angry billows cease when Jesus stands and says, peace.
God is bigger than our circumstances, and that is really correct. However, let us always remember, God is not expecting us to do great things for great ministries all the time. What the Lord wishes us to do is, do the little things consistently in life, and that is ministry and reflection of Him at its best. That is the 7 minutes with God today. Have a great day, everyone.
Wake up, wake up, it's time to rise and sing the praise of Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It's time to rise, to sing, to shout, to bring.
Wake up! Wake up!